In Palestine, Israeli troops continue their genocidal aggression against Gaza, committing 3 major massacres in the last 24 hours. In Iran, the 6 candidates for the country's presidency held their third televised debate ahead of early elections on June 28th. And in China, heavy rains caused flooding, overflowing rivers and submerged streets in the southeast of the nation. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Luis Alberto Matos from the TeleSur studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. Over the last 24 hours, Israeli forces have committed 3 major massacres against the civilian population in the Gaza Strip. Local health authorities say 101 Palestinians were killed in several attacks, while another 169 were injured. By now, 260 days passed since the start of the war. 37,551 people have been killed by Israel, mostly women and children, while over 85,000 have been wounded. Ambulances and rescue teams are still unable to reach some 10,000 victims trapped under the rubble or scattered on the roads of the devastated Gaza Strip. 8 months since the start of Israel's genocidal war, fighter jets have carried out a series of attacks on 4 apartments in the center of the Al-Shadi refugee camp west of the Strip. Also, occupying forces invaded and shelled the Al-Zaytun neighborhood southeast of Gaza, resulting in the death of 2 Palestinian youngsters. Ambulances and rescue teams are still searching for victims trapped under the rubble. And we stay in Palestine. Gaza Strip authorities denounced the death of dozens of citizens in Israeli prisons after being subjected to months of physical and psychological torture. The Authority for Palestinian Prisoners and Former Prisoners Affairs detailed that the figure is in addition to the 18 citizens of the occupied West Bank who have died in the prisons of Tel Aviv since October 7th. The officials also accused the Israeli state of crimes against humanity in prisons, forced disappearance of detainees, and the setting up of mass graves in the facilities. And the Cuban government announced that it joins as a third state to the South African lawsuit before the International Court of Justice against Israel for the genocide suffered by the Palestinian people in the Gaza Strip. Through a statement, the Cuban Foreign Ministry indicated that it took the decision given that Israel has flagrantly violated international norms with its actions in the illegally occupied Palestinian territory of the Gaza Strip. The Foreign Ministry added that the main objective is to stop the atrocities of the Israeli army against the Palestinian people. With this step, Cuba joined Chile, Nicaragua, Colombia, and Mexico, Latin American states that have expressed their request to join South Africa's demand.
What happens next?
In his conference through his social media X, the Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez said Cuba has decided to participate as a third state in South Africa's lawsuit against Israel before the ICJ and will argue the transgression of the Genocide Convention to the main judicial body of the UN. We must put an end to the massacre against the people of Palestine. Likewise, the statement issued by the Cuban Foreign Minister also stated Israel, with total impunity, protected by the complicity of the government of the United States, ignores its obligations as an occupied power under the 4th Geneva Convention. In another paragraph, the government of Cuba emphasized genocide, apartheid, forced displacement, and collective punishment have no place in today's world, nor can they be tolerated by the international community. Justice and respect for the United Nations Charter and international law must prevail. In other news, in Iran, the 6 candidates for the country's presidency held their third televised debate on Friday ahead of early elections on June 28th after the death of President Ebrahim Raisi. The candidates for the Islamic Republic's 14th presidential election participated in the third of 5 debates, called to answer questions and explain their government programs. Friday's meeting was focused on cultural and social issues. According to the latest polls, candidate Saeed Jalili, who previously served as head of state of the country's security agency, is expected to win 22.5% of the vote. Behind him will be lawmakers Mohammad Kalibaf with 19.5% and Masoud Pezeshkian with 19.4% of the popular support. The leader of the Islamic Revolution, Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Khamenei, spoke after the third televised debate between the presidential candidates, praising the way the debate had been conducted. He also recalled that these activities allow citizens to get to know those who hope to become the country's presidential candidates. He expressed that the opinion of the aspirants allows the people to know them better. He warned the candidates not to make any statements to avoid pandering to the enemy. Let's take a short break now, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSur English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. Those stories coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back. The International Economic Development Seminar concluded in Venezuela at the Teresa Carreño Theater in Caracas. On the second and final day of the event, the former president of Ecuador and economist Rafael Correa, as well as the economist Van Gan from the Development Institute and the Economic Research Institute of China, addressed topics such as economic resilience, the procedure of economies, and the procedure to strengthen the economies of the Global South.
I don't believe that economics is a science. It's a discipline, a sector of knowledge that can have a scientific side, but much is empiricism, much is politics, much is ideology, but there are things that are facts. Whether we are from the left or right, the earth is round. Whether we are from the left or right, we need to accumulate in order to develop. And to accumulate, we have to save. Simple as that. We need to produce more than what we consume. If you want to consume more than what you produce, that's not sustainable in time.
The economist and president of the Chinese Institute for Development and of the Economic Research Institute, Van Gan, pointed out the positive role of Beijing in generating public goods.
Yes, it is true that China still has state-owned companies, and the government has played a positive role at all levels. The central government, the local governments, to provide the infrastructure, the industrial policies, and to generate the necessary public goods.
Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro highlighted the importance of the International Seminar on Economic Development during what he called a period of the nation's construction.
I believe that this international seminar on economic development came to nourish our country during this period of construction with a new economy, which we have called a diversified economy, to satisfy the internal needs, to produce goods, products, to satisfy the Venezuelans, to produce wealth, physical and monetary wealth, so that we can fulfill the objective of the economy.
The international news multi-platform TeleSur was recognized this Friday with the Animal Nasoa Journalist Award for its programs Texto y Contextos, Atomum, and Latitude Brazil. The awards were presented by the Foundation of the Necessary Journalism Movement in conjunction with the Ministry of Communication and Information in the city of Caracas. TeleSur received 2 awards in the categories Television to the Program and 1 in the category Television to the Journalist. This achievement shows the work, dedication, and commitment of the entire team in providing quality information to users worldwide. Regarding this recognition, the president of TeleSur, Patricia Villegas, expressed through her account on the social media X, Grande TeleSur. Today our team is recognized for its work in Atomum, Texto y Contexto, and Latitude Brazil. Thank you, dear companions, for the effort and rigor. Thanks to our users for the permanent inspiration. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador praised the appointments of new cabinet members made Thursday by President-elect Claudia Sheinbaum.
I have to say that the appointments that were made yesterday are very good. The president-elect knew how to choose well the positions. Public officials, men and women, who guaranteed the continuity with the change. All of them are very good. All those she appointed are very good. They have experience, and Marcel Ebrard has a lot of experience.
But on the other hand, the Mexican head of state highlighted Marcelo Ebrard's work as Secretary of Foreign Affairs to preserve the nation's political and economic relations.
On instructions from the president-elect to be in charge of maintaining the economic and commercial policies with the United States government, which is very important. As Secretary of Foreign Affairs, he was in charge of the rapprochement with the U.S. government to sign the new trade agreement, which was very favorable for Mexico. That is why foreign investment has grown like never before in the country. With record figures for last year and what is projected for this year. So Marcelo is the best.
López Obrador also affirmed that he will devote his 3 remaining months in office to recovery of the miners of Pasta de Conchos and El Pinapete.
Nos queda poco tiempo.
We are running out of time. 3 months. And we want to devote all our time to the rescue. We don't want to be distracted.
No queremos distraernos. Se sigue trabajando. Hoy,
work continues. Today in the morning, we talked, taking advantage of the fact that the Licenciado Artegui was with us and they are in charge of the rescue. The engineers of the Federal Electricity Commission. We spoke with the Secretary of the Government and with the Director of Civil Protection. I asked them to intensify the search. The Secretary of the Government informed me that they have continued working. They have even found machinery inside the galleries. And there is still a lot of work to be done. And we have to do it carefully, because we have to protect the people who are doing the rescue work.
In China, heavy rains caused flooding, overflowing rivers and submerged streets in the southeast of the nation. Continuous rainfall caused water levels to rise in the Xiyang River in southern China, causing flooding in the city of Wusu. Local authorities reported that at least 1,800 people were evacuated, while another 47 people lost their lives in Guangdong province. In addition, 100 bridges, plantations, and roads connecting the rural areas have been damaged. Facing the onslaught of nature, the municipal authorities have redoubled their efforts with measures such as the involvement of the Maritime Affairs Department, the Red Cross, and volunteer groups. Rescue teams have been using boats in the flooded area, searching for trapped people and moving them in groups to safety. And in El Salvador, the death toll following heavy rains landslides have risen to 19. Civil protection authorities have reported some 1,500 incidents and the evacuation of over 2,500 people. 150 shelters have been set up to tend to over 6,000 people nationwide, including 1,212 minors. Civil protection officials have issued a red alert, and the country's Congress has declared a 15-day state of emergency. According to forecasts, more rain expected in the coming days, which might cause severe damage to infrastructure and power outages. We have a fun short break coming up, but before we invite you to join our WhatsApp community for our English-speaking audience, you can scan the QR code on screen to join directly and share the link to reach more people. Constant news coverage of Latin American and Caribbean as well as the rest of the world. Stay connected and informed with TeleSur. Fun short break, don't go away.
From the south is part of the TTTL of Trinidad and Tobago. We are grateful to be part of this television house and to be able to share news from around the world.
Welcome back. Russia's foreign ministry blamed the North Atlantic Treaty Organization for generating the greatest number of threats to Eurasian security. The organization denounced that NATO continues maneuvers to expand and destabilize sovereign states. In this regard, Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov assured during a meeting of foreign ministers of the Collective Security Treaty Organization, NATO, that the threats to Eurasian security emanate from different directions, but in most cases the source of these threats is NATO's aggressive policy. In this sense, the Foreign Ministry emphasized that the real intention of this strategy, linked to its eastward expansion, is to threaten Russia, China, and North Korea, countries the U.S. and its satellite nations consider to be their adversaries. The French Democratic Confederation of Labour reiterated its rejection to the far right in view of its recent parliamentary advances. The General Secretary of the Union, Marie-Louise Léon, affirmed that she opposes to the far-right projects of inequality and its pretension of classifying social classes. In this sense, the organization urged its 600,000 members to vote in favor of the leftist bloc, the Popular Front, formed by the Socialists and the Ecologists. The rejection comes ahead of the first round of legislative elections in which the National Rally Party aspires to achieve the absolute majority and claim the Prime Minister position. Rwandan President Paul Kagame declared his country was ready to go to war with the Democratic Republic of the Congo if necessary. The statement made during an exclusive interview with France 24 follows Congolese President Tshisekedi's accusation that Rwanda was organizing a genocide in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Kagame, for his part, responded to the accusation, claiming that Tshisekedi was promoting a genocidal ideology against the Congolese Tutsis. The decade-long conflict in eastern Congo has produced one of the world's worst humanitarian crises, with over 100 armed groups fighting in the region, most for land and control of mines with valuable minerals. The government of Niger revoked the license of the French multinational nuclear fuel company Orano as part of the measures implemented to break ties with Paris. The mining ministry of the African country had warned of the possibility of revoking the license if work had not started before June 19th, claiming that the measure follows the nation's security interests. After the end of the conversation, representatives of the French state-owned company rejected the order to withdraw from the mine in Imurarin after 50 years of exploitation, use and enjoyment of the production. Niger's natural uranium accounts for a quarter of the supply to Europe. In this sense, the decision could have broader geopolitical implications. President of the Confederation of African Football, Patrice Motsepe, announced that Friday that the next Africa Cup of Nations AFCON, to be held in Morocco, was rescheduled to be played from December 21st, 2025 to January 18th, 2026. The decision was announced during a CAF Virtual Executive Committee meeting at their headquarters in Cairo, where Motsepe explained that the dates had been moved to avoid a clash with other football international events. Differently from the four-yearly European Championship, Copa America and Asian Cup, the AFCON is held every 2 years because it delivers most of the CAF revenue. Come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. So join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSur English, I'm Luis Alberto Matos. Thank you for watching.
el mundo se mueve